Hello, and welcome to the Conscious Communion podcast, where we traverse through the inner dwellings of the human experience through conversation. I'm your host, Danae. Join me as we explore the interconnection of creativity and community. Hello, and welcome to the final episode of 2023 for the Conscious Communion. It is such an honor and a gift to be here with you today and always, and to honor and to celebrate the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year and the longest night of the year. I come before you with such deep gratitude for the journey that it's been to embark on these beautiful conversations with these incredible souls that I've been able to connect with throughout 2023 and at the very end of 2022. So thank you for joining me and for being here along the ride. And wow, 2023 has been such a beautiful catalyst to growth and to evolve for so many of us. I believe that as a human species, we are coming to the understanding that we cannot do this life without each other. And so, being that the mission of this podcast is to connect and to commune consciously with others, I find it so incredibly thoughtful that we get to be a part of this grand ritual that's before us to interweave thoughts and ideas and experiences and mirror back to one another the reflections that we hold within our own personal lives. And so, wow, what a sweet gift this has been. And thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing the journey. And today I really just wanted to come before you and share just a little bit of love, some insights, and some experiential wisdom that I've collected through my path that may be helpful throughout the holiday season. And I realize that the holiday season can feel so many kinds of ways for so many of us. And so in honoring how we feel as individuals, I believe is the utmost importance to then care for that first. Because as we know, and as I say often, we cannot care and be of service to another unless we first tend to ourselves. So here we are, we're landing in space. I would love if we could just take a few breaths together to really ground and lean into the essence of all that's here for us now. Taking an inhale, however feels good for you. And exhaling. And 2 more times, however feels good for you. Tomorrow is the winter solstice. And so as we celebrate and honor the earth and her wisdom, I love to just recognize that with the shortest day of the year and with the longest night of the year, we get to really come into this deep understanding that rest is necessary for us to thrive. And so as we've transitioned from fall and into this beautiful season of darkness, I would just encourage you to lean into the soft edges that are here for you always. We as a collective and as a human species have come into the hustle and bustle that capitalism brings, that capitalism requires and desires. And we do not need to prescribe to that any longer. And so I believe that a revolution starts in the comfort of our own hearts. And as we come into attunement with what ails us psychologically, emotionally, physically, and really get to the root of those things to then love those things, to create more spaciousness for those things, we can find more light amidst the darkness. And darkness is necessary and vital to our understanding of how we operate, because again, it is reflected to us in nature itself. So as we come into this season of winter, may we reflect, may we pay close attention, and may we also align with the rhythms that are here for us now. It is really just been such a beautiful honor for me to have this space to create conscious conversation with incredible souls and creators. And this call has been on my heart for so long, and yet to really be embarking on this now for a little over a year, I've come into the cognition that we desperately need more connection. And I know so many of us are in the spirit of making connections and staying close with community to then embark on how we can do life together, do life with love. And this season can be both heartbreaking and comforting for so many of us. And again, that dualistic nature can bring up so much hardship for so many of us. And one thing I really like to take away personally for myself as a meditation and as a reflection is presence is the present, right? We focus, so many of us have been taught to focus on gifts. And while I love to give gifts, while I enjoy to receive gifts, presence is the key. Presence with another, presence with ourself during this time is the gift. And so as we continue to move through this season, however it makes sense for us, I would encourage you to really lean in to presence with the people you love. What we're holding in our personal lives, holding that dearly with presence. Holding what we hold collectively with presence. And honoring those things will then create more capacity for us to be of service to ourselves and others. And so amidst this season, may we show up intentionally for ourselves first and for those that we may be with this season. And for some of us, being with people doesn't feel good. And so that's okay too. And yet just finding what and how we can hold deep reverence for ourselves is what matters. And so may you do that for yourself this season. May you do that for yourself this season. I like to think of the transition from fall to winter being such an incredible example of how the leaves that fall are used as regenerative compost. And that compost is used to provide us oxygen, giving the soil nutrients, feeding thousands of bacteria and millions and trillions of just biological entities that allow us to thrive as we are. And so knowing that there's this grand scheme of synchronicity that's happening before our eyes and before our hearts and underneath our feet and all around us helps me to feel comforted that I am held by the mother, by Gaia herself. And really in honoring the solstice and honoring the ritual to come before the earth, we get to find new rituals that may make sense for us if others don't. And so for me in this season, while there's certain aspects to Christmas that I love, there's certain aspects to the celebratory season that comes around in December. My husband and I have also come into the understanding that it's time for us to make these holidays make sense for us. So we've created our own rituals and our own celebratory excitements around the season that, combine both of our beliefs and what we enjoy to do. And I think that makes things fun. So if you can do that for yourselves, I would encourage you to do so. You don't need to stick to any plan. You don't need to stick to drawing inside the lines. You can certainly draw outside the lines and find the rhythms and the rituals that make sense for you and that bring you joy and that make magic come alive. And so this episode is not intended to be a long one. It's really just one of those short, sweet offerings that can potentially aid you in leaning into the perspective of doing something that feels good for you and finding out what that is. And as you do that, may you continue to honor yourselves and those around you. And I think as we continue to show up for ourselves and as we continue to create magic for ourselves in our own lives, that will eventually ripple out. And all at the same time, I realize that the holidays can be really heavy and hard for a lot of folks. So to share in transparency, but not fully, I myself am going into this season with so much gratitude, yet opening myself up to service that feels accessible and challenging even still. I will be going home for Christmas and I will be aiding in care for a loved one who is suffering with a terminal illness. And with that, there is a lot of grief. Yet, in holding both joy and grief, which Dolores Cruz and I spoke about last week on last week's episode, I know that the presence of me being where I get to be, to show up, to be of service, to be a caretaker, is a gift. And I realize that time with loved ones is never promised. So in recognizing how we spend our time during the holidays, may we all lean into the appreciation that we get to have when we do share space and time and celebration with those that we love. Life is fragile, and it is a great, great gift. And so, again, shifting that perspective from presence being the present has been such a monumental shift for me, because as much as I love to make gifts, as much as I love to give gifts, there's nothing like time with a loved one. and sharing a meal with a loved one. And so as you celebrate however makes sense for you this season, or as you choose not to celebrate this season with yourself or loved ones, may you lean into the presence of all that's here for you in the here and now. Leaning into your breath, feeling the sensation as it hits your nose, as it leaves your lips. And really just coming into this deep recognition of living in the here and now is a gift. Breathing in the here and now is a gift. Tomorrow is not promised to any of us, and it's not something that we need to fear. I think our culture teaches us to fear life and the fragility of it, yet in honoring the deep, deep reverence that we get to have for this holy life. This is our altar. This is the altar of our life. May we come before this altar with respect, compassion, grace, and the ultimate attunement to what is here for us in the here and now, whether it be hard or not, whether it be beautiful, whether it be hard or beautiful. And trying to find the joy amidst all of it. And also giving space for the solace when it comes. So today really was just an intention of saying hello. Again, thank you so much for this year. Thank you for journeying with me into the depths of conversation and communion with so many incredible guests, so many incredible souls. Thank you for listening and sharing the ride and being here with me now. Thank you for all of it. And I honor you and send you so much love during this season and every season to come. May you find softness. May you find peace. And may you find a deep, resounding love for yourself and all those that you get to surround yourself with this season. Loving you as you are, giving you big hugs. See you in 2024. All the love, all the blessings. Hey there, it's Danae again. Just wanted to say thank you for sharing your time and energy with me. If this podcast resonates, please like, subscribe, follow, and share if you're willing. Reviews help too, so if you're feeling the vibe, please leave a review where you can. Sending all the love. Peace.